I created G-plans out of nutrition frustration. One day during nutrition studies at Duke University, we came across a revelation. We discovered that everyone has a completely unique metabolic structure and type. Eating a generic diet program will not get you the results you want, and you will continue on a path of yo-yo dieting forever. Ultimately, sustainable food programs are built within your own specific metabolic template.
I eat what Dr. G tells me to eat for my metabolic type. I don't call this program a diet because I eat more than on other programs.
Hello, welcome to today's nutrition masterclass. So glad to see you here today. See Sandy, Holly, and Manila checking in today. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to another nutrition masterclass. So of course, we do these live every Wednesday at 12 Pacific Standard Time. So you're able to ask questions throughout the presentation today. We have, of course, a new topic every week. This week, what we're going to be talking about is following your meal plan on a budget. So I know today, food prices, they've definitely increased over the past couple years. So we're going to go over some big tips and tricks, some things that can help you save a little money at the store today and stay on track with your healthy eating meal plan. So we're going to get started here in just a minute. Just as a reminder, if you do have any questions, comments come up throughout today's presentation, please go ahead, add those to the chat box today. I will take those questions at the end. So we will go ahead and dive right in and get started. All right. Okay. All right, so topic for today is following your meal plan on a budget. Okay, and so this is our overview here today. We had our introduction. We're going to discuss overview of meal planning on a budget. We're going to go into some tips at that point, some overview tips that's going to help you save a little money at the store. Next, after that, I'm going to ask you a little bit some questions. So if you have any questions individually, let me know. We're going to go into a few more tips at that time. We're going to close everything out. I'm going to mention the dirty dozen when it comes to organic produce. And then lastly, we always will have my tip of the week and then our weekly special promotion as well. All right, and so as a reminder, feel free, know that you can always send me an email. So if you maybe have something you don't want to add it into the chat box today, feel free to send me an email there. That is my email address up on the screen. We will also have this added into the chat box for you today as well. All right, so meal planning on a budget. There is definitely no doubt that prices at the grocery store are a bit higher here recently, so you might be looking for some ways to stick to your healthy eating plan while also saving a bit of money. To make things more complicated, there are a lot of healthy products on the market today that can be pretty pricey and unnecessary, and it can sometimes be kind of challenging to determine, okay, what's a good option, what's not. Today we're going to discuss some tips and tricks that can help you to stick to the essentials and make healthy eating more affordable. Okay, so diving right in, we're going to get started with some tips here. So first things first, this sounds really simple. Plan ahead. It is so key. So if you don't plan ahead, you will end up probably buying things that maybe you didn't even really need at the store. Planning ahead is key to sticking to your meal plan first and foremost, and also to help you save a bit of money as well. Before you shop each week, first, go ahead, take inventory of what you have on hand, and then plan your meals for the week so you know exactly what you'll need. Another thing I'll mention here is if you're on the G Plans app, if you're following our plan, you might want to sit down. You could actually make your swaps for recipes for the rest of the week. And again, if you're focusing on saving a little bit of money, you might want to stick to more repeat recipes. So kind of repeat a few recipes or stick to recipes that are using some of the same ingredients so that you won't be buying as many different things too. Also, take that time when you're planning ahead to map out what stores may have sales for that week, and that's going to help you stock up for use later on. So that's a really good time, again, setting that time, maybe on the weekend, whatever that looks like for you, to plan out your meals, plan your week, your grocery shop, and go ahead and look at what's on sale at that time too. Next up is stick to the basics. So sticking to the essentials, really going to help prioritize those whole foods. So there's a lot of options, a lot of things, products on the market today that look to be healthy products. Maybe some of them are pretty healthy choices, a lot of them aren't, and they're essentially still highly processed, healthier foods. So these kind of options can also tend to be pretty expensive. So I'm talking things like a lot of protein bars, different kind of crackers, things like this. Go ahead and try to avoid those. Stick to those whole food choices. Some foods do tend to be more affordable in a less processed form. An example is whole grains like oats or brown rice. They tend to be less expensive than if you purchased a processed cereal. Avoiding more processed items, it's also a great way to improve your health. When you're at the grocery store, a good way to do that too is to focus on shopping the perimeter of the store. So in general, of course, that's going to be where your whole food options, your fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, it's all going to be in the perimeter of the store rather than in the inside. Next tip here is consider frozen or canned produce. So if you buy a lot of fresh produce, you might want to switch over, kind of do some of this. Fresh fruits and vegetables are usually, of course, in season only a few months a year, and they can be definitely sometimes rather expensive. Frozen produce is just as nutritious, it's cheaper, and it's sold all year. So buying frozen also is another great way to help you prevent food waste. Or maybe if you purchased a larger portion at a time, go ahead and freeze that yourself. Again, buying frozen meat or buying in larger quantities, maybe if something is on sale, and freezing, it's a great way to reduce your food cost and have access to healthy food items when you need them. So having that backup option too, knowing that there's some options in your freezer, you can thaw them out, cook them, you're ready to go. Purchasing canned produce is another great way to purchase produce for less that has a much longer expiration date. It is important to note with canned items, of course, you want to stick with those that are in water, not in syrup or juices as well, ideally. You may also want to read that label and might want to keep an eye out and avoid any choices with a lot of added salt or added sugar for sure as well. All right, so kind of in the middle here, I want to ask you, do you have any questions specifically about meal planning on a budget? Any questions I could help you with today? Feel free to go ahead and add those in the chat box. And also, if you have any little tips that work for you, that help you to save a little money at the store, let me know. Share those in the chat box too. I'd love to share some of these at the end of today's presentation. All right, so continuing here with a few more tips. Next up is buy in bulk. So buying in bulk, it's definitely a great idea to help you reduce food costs. When an item is on sale, or if there are certain foods you use more frequently, go ahead and purchase those in bulk and then bag or freeze some of those for use later on. You might also choose to buy one additional item each time that you shop. That's a really good way to kind of help you have a little more on hand, and you do it a little more gradually. So if it's kind of a lot for you to make that big purchase of a bulk order at one time, yeah, go ahead and, if it's chicken breast, for example, maybe get 2 packages that week if you were going to get one. You can throw one in the freezer. Over time, that's going to kind of add up, and you'll have more and more options ready to go as a backup as well. Next is shop local. So shopping locally, so important to help support your local farmers. And it may also be less expensive too. Another bonus is that the produce you're going to get is really going to be fresher and it will last a little longer for you. Always like to mention, so check out your local farmers market, looking into a CSA, which is kind of your share essentially of a farm. So you will get, basically it's like a membership, and you're going to get regular boxes of produce. So that's a really good way too. A lot of times that can be a really good price and help you to take advantage of that really fresh produce. And again, stick locally too. All right, so last thing here, we're going to talk about the Dirty Dozen list. So what is the Dirty Dozen list? The Environmental Working Group develops that list each year. It changes each year. Now, it's a list of the 12 non-organic fruits and vegetables that are going to be the highest in pesticide residues. So again, one of the main concerns driving organic food consumption is pesticides. So watching out for that Dirty Dozen list. This can help you, rather than, maybe purchasing all your foods organic. This can help you to really prioritize what foods may be best to consider organic. And then there's other options. Maybe you don't need to purchase them organically. So the list for 2023, again, these are some options. These will be higher in pesticide residue. Might be good choices to consider organic. It's going to be strawberries, spinach, kale, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell peppers and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans. Now, a lot of these choices you'll see on the Dirty Dozen as well will typically be options where you might consume the skin of that product, or it will have a thinner skin. So of course those pesticides can kind of get in a little easier. So those might be some options. You might want to prioritize those as organic, and other things might not be as important. So good tip there to reduce some costs as well. All right, so my tip of the week is all about today's topic as well. Again, sounds really simple, but it's cut back on eating out. This sounds, again, so simple, but it can help you to see so much better progress, and it's also going to help reduce how much you spend on food. Can really cut costs dramatically. Eating out frequently can sabotage weight loss efforts, and it can definitely be really pricey. So one thing is that when we do go out to eat, even if we are sticking to those healthier options, it's really tough for us to know the exact portion we're getting and the exact ingredients of that meal. So even if you're eating, a really healthy chicken salad at a restaurant, they could have cooked that with a ton of oil, a ton of salt, and other things added. So it might be a lot higher in calories as well than you might realize. So eating out is not the worst thing, but if you are focused on reducing your food costs, I would highly recommend cut out eating out. It's going to help you to see better weight loss progress. It's going to help you to have a better relationship with your food, And it's also going to allow you to, again, also have a little more maybe in your budget for grocery shopping. So maybe a few more fun ingredients and things that you can play with at home too. So very important there. Think about cutting back on eating out. All right, and so last thing for today is our special promotion. We do have 50% off one of our great supplements today, and today it is our Rest Restore supplement. So this one's a great one. So if you feel like you're not sleeping that well, if you're having some troubles getting to sleep, or if maybe you're finding that you're not recovering from your workout so well, also great supplement to take, help you improve your sleep and improve your recovery. So check that out in your email. That promotion is going to be in your email after this call today. And this is our last slide for today's presentation. So if you have any other questions at this time, feel free, go ahead and add those to the chat box. Okay. All right here. Okay, so see some input here. All right, Nancy says, I make a list and I stick with it. That is awesome, Nancy. I also stop at local farms and markets. Excellent. Very good. Making that list and sticking with it, so key. Another tip there too, to help you stick to that list, try to avoid going to the grocery store shopping when you're really hungry. So of course that can kind of tempt you and make you maybe veer away from your list a bit, maybe grab a couple other things. So have that list to be prepared, and then prevent from going to the grocery store when you're really hungry as well. All right, I see here, I have a question. Okay. Do you have a list of sources of food boxes from farms? Great question, Nancy. I do not. I would recommend, again, there's some really good websites, of course, online that can kind of show you local farms in your area. I can't tell you what they are right now, but I would do a Google search, and there are some couple excellent websites that will show you those local farms to you. And go ahead and do a Google search as well for CSAs near me. Check that out. Another great thing to look at too is probably Facebook and Facebook groups. So lots of information there. One other thing I did actually want to add today, it's a little random, is that I actually see in a lot of Facebook communities is that with gardening as well, a lot of people may have some extra produce and they're not able to use all of it. And I see pretty frequently actually on Facebook Marketplace and like the Nextdoor apps that people do post that they have free produce available that's extra, and you can come pick it up. So that's a great thing to take advantage of too. If you find that, you might find a very large amount of produce, and again, go ahead and prep that, stick it in your freezer, and you're good to go for a while. All right, so good questions today, and feel free to. So again, if you have something else that's a little more personal or a little more detailed, you can always send me an email. Feel free to reach out that way, and I will definitely get right back to you. So I'm so glad you joined in with me today. So glad you're here. I hope today's topic was helpful. And again, feel free, if you have other questions, reach out to me. I will be live, of course, again next week with another nutrition masterclass and a new topic that we'll discuss live. So I hope to see you again next week, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.